What's going on, people? What's going on? We are live. So I have a very special guest here tonight, and this is actually their music playing in the background. It's called Good Vibes. We have a very special episode tonight with the father and son, Kenny and KJ. So we are all about family this month because the holidays are rolling up. But I wanted this show to be special because nothing is more special than the unique dynamic between a father and a son, especially an active father with his son, a black active father with his son.
Appreciate that.
Super powerful, and I think it is definitely overlooked. Black men are very important and needed. So those are things that we are going to discuss tonight, along with other topics. But before we get into the topics or anything else, let's speak to our guests. So please, if you two gentlemen could introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about yourselves, what you do, and just talk to us.
All right. Well, yeah, man. First of all, thank you for having us. That is always it's always an honor when people will share their platform with you, and just to be able to, like you've been saying, just to be able to speak our truth. So, thank you for having us. My name is Kenny. Last name is Wright Gross. Two last names. We might touch base on that a little bit tonight, but yeah. Also known as WG, you know what I mean? WG, you know what I mean? Gotta throw that out there. And yeah, man. You said tell me a little bit about myself. So I'm a creative. Make music, do a little bit with some video and some design, graphic stuff. Real minor. I probably shouldn't even throw that out there because I don't want to offend anybody that's real true to the craft. But I have the ideas, and then I'm able to make those manifest. And but also my current primary lane is in the credit restoration or credit building, financial literacy arena, especially for our people, making sure that they have the opportunity to get a lot of knowledge that was not inherently passed down to us. And so we find ourselves in precarious situations trying to figure it out, but a lot of times being behind the eight ball. So I got into that arena earlier this year, and I've been enjoying that. I do some coaching, I do some consulting, I do some things.
He's a brand.
Yeah,
It's a
and
whole,
so yeah,
it
so
represents like literally the WG brand, and I think the number one thing that makes his brand the most impactful, and I was the one that made his promotion video. He talked about how he has a natural gift to take person A and person B. Person A has something that person B has. Person A needs something person B has, and person B has something that person A has. He has a natural gift of connecting those two people on a consistent basis. So that's what his brand represents, and if you can actually track the actual process of everything that he does, whether it's music, whether it's credit repair, just whatever thing he gets himself into, he's a motivational speaker, all these different things. He's connecting people, and he's getting them what they need to be successful. And that's
I should have just let him do it. He did it better than me. He did it better than I did. Yeah.
Like, honestly, this shows the respect that he has for you because he's only talking about what you're doing. We don't know his name. He does. I mean,
let's pass the baton to the kid, Prince KJ himself.
Right, but that's just a compliment. And so tell us about yourself, your name, and what you do.
all right. So my name is Kenneth Lyle Jedediah Wright Gross.
The whole government.
Go
ahead.
I'm primarily a YouTuber, videographer, internet marketer, but I also have a very, very strong passion for music. If music was taken out of my life, then I would just be a skeleton. And yeah. So let's see. Videographer, artist, like photographer, dabble in photography, producer, singer, rapper, dancer.
I don't know about the dancer
The
part.
dancer part is still a work in progress.
He wants to be a dancer so bad.
It's a work in progress.
But that's his truth. That's his truth.
It's my truth.
You're right. That's his truth.
Bro,
That's his truth.
I'm telling you, at homecoming, I was the dancer, right? But
we got a special guest.
Hey, yeah, I'm a mutt. I got a lot of stuff that I'm trying to do in a lot of things.
And keep that up because as you get older, you'll start to appreciate the different ways that you were able to express yourself artistically. So dancing, singing, rapping, writing, video production, etc. These things will really become more tangible as you get older because your reach is going to really show because your work is going to have that experience. But you already have the game. And also the video that we put up, the promo video this week was made by this young man.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
So,
indeed.
if anybody that's looking for video production or video editing, this guy's the one you need to get in contact with. But before we get into our questions and topics, I want to get into first. I want to thank the ladies and loyals, for tuning in. Every week, we really do appreciate y'all, and also as well, I do want to shout out the sponsors, which is my company. I don't have the logo up, but I'm really trying to get used to this. So the company I have is called Ritual. So it is a spiritual life coach business that is based on the ritual of the Black family, starting with the Black head, or just people in general. But my target is the Black man. So if you start at the top, that trickles down to the bottom, and that creates a stronger foundation overall. So I'll have my affirmation of the week, and we got a special segment later on in the show. So as we get into our topics, I'm gonna first ask the topic going to Kenny. I mentioned this before we got on live, but just wanted to ask you, why is it important to be the example? As Black men, we have to be leaders, and we have to be seen as strong, right? Being transparent or maybe vulnerable is seen as a trait that's weak or a trait that is not strong. But as you are growing into your own, as you are your own man, but still evolving, why is it important to be the example for your son and your family, your clients? Why is that important?
So I think it's just people want something real, man. I think that was always so. My mom, I would give her the credit for setting that example. My dad and I, we have a decent relationship now, but when I was a child, he wasn't in the picture, right? And so my mom was just super transparent and sometimes too much. You know, people like TMI. Like, she told me everything, and I was like, Mama, I didn't want to know that, but I respected her so much because of it. Yeah. And her thought was, I never want someone else to be able to catch you off guard or blindside you, right? Right. So shout out to Mom Deuce for laying that foundation of being transparent, being honest, and just being real. And people relate to that. And so that carries over into everything else that I do as well. And then like my granddad, like a piece from him was just about being able to look someone in their eyes and shake their hand and let them know, like, this is who I am and I mean what I say. You know what I mean? Like that type of old school, that firm handshake. What you looking over there for? Look me in my eyes. Like, I want you to know this is me. And so those were just things that were really like deeply imprinted, you know what I mean? And so I tried to carry those mantles into everything that I did after that, to include when I became a dad, right? Like I knew that I wanted my children to have uh, all the things that I did get that were quality, you know, characteristics and just good character foundation, right? I wanted them to have all of that, but then I also knew there were things that uh, were missing, and I wanted to make sure that they had that. And
Right.
so I guess just, you know, through a series of those, you know, like you said, those evolutions, I came to just be like, look, I'm gonna just be as authentic as I can. I'm gonna be as transparent as I can.
Right. Right.
And then also what I realized is, like, my mom and I, you know, because of our relationship, she like things I remember from my childhood, when like Christmas was coming around and if money was tight or whatever, you know, she was not one of them people that was gonna make a bunch of promises and then just have you looking crazy. She's like, I'd rather just tell you the truth, we ain't got it, and then, you know, we celebrate later or whatever. But her honesty made me always want to be more honest. So if I got in trouble, I just was like, Mama, I did it, or Mama, I didn't do it, or, you know, whatever the case was. And but that allowed her to also fill in for me when somebody was accusing me or somebody was, you know, whatever, and she's like, nah, not my son. Did you do that? No. He said he didn't do it. Ain't nothing else to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, so I kind of carried that into, you know, my parenting style and into the relationship that I have with my children. I'm gonna be honest with you because I expect you to be honest with me. And there's benefits that come with that far supersede, you know, being anything that's less than authentic, right? Like, you might get away with this moment, or you might reap a short-term benefit from telling a lie or being deceptive, but the long-term benefits of being real and being truthful and being trustworthy, that right there is priceless. And so
That's character.
yeah, exactly. And so I just try to be that, like, you know what I mean? Like in whether I meet a stranger, whether, I mean, you name it. I just try to be that. Like, and I ain't saying it's flawless, but that's really like major to me. That's major to me. And so I guess that's the foundation of it, and everything else is kind of built up from there. So, and then this guy right here, he embraced it. Like, so, let me tell you this is a true story. I can't remember. I feel like I should remember the detail. But anyway, long story short, I cannot tell you how many times he's come to me and be like, Daddy, I think I need a whooping. I'm like, I don't think it works like that. Like, I can't.
It don't work.
Look, I can't. Like, you took all of my, you took it. I got nothing. I was like, well, what happened? He was like, well, I did this and I didn't do this and da. I was like, I didn't know, and I didn't even know, you know, some of the stuff that he was talking about. But he took it and was like, look, this is how we roll. Like, if you said be honest, and I'm like, yes, I did. You know what I mean? But that has been the nature of our relationship, and it's just a beautiful
honestly,
thing.
that's just the power of honesty.
Yeah.
You know? It's like
It carries.
it's like if you get ahead of the truth, you control the narrative. And once you control the narrative, everything flows the way that you want it to.
You're in the shot, baby. Okay. Yes, he's.
What's going on? What's going on, man? And actually, I was coming to you next, really. I was going to ask you, KJ, with your father being this type of example, leading with this type of example, how has that shaped you? I told you with no questions.
Yeah, I'm a very, I've always said this, I feel like I'm a direct product of everything, like, from, you know, that I've been exposed to. So both my mom and dad have like heavily impacted who I am today, and the stuff that they allowed me to like observe and whatnot in my childhood. You know, how has his honesty? I mean, yeah. There's actually, yeah. No. During the most difficult, like, let me just be straightforward. During the divorce, between my mom and dad, like, there was all sorts of slander being spewing in every direction, mostly from my mom about my dad. So I was put in a position to where, like, basically I had to pick sides. Like, if I say I love both of my parents equally, then that's not good enough for my mom. And it turned into like, well, you shouldn't, because of something that happened 5, 6, 12 years ago, that your dad did to me.
Wow.
So
wow.
You shouldn't like him for that reason. And it worked on some of my other siblings, or at least, you know, temporarily convince them that they should, you know, submit in whatever way she was talking at the time. But I kept going back and forth, like, but daddy said this.
Yeah.
And mommy was like, he lied, or he's not telling the full story, or he also did this. And then I go back to my dad, like, mommy said you did this. What actually happened? It's always what actually happened when I go back to my dad.
And the struggle being torn between the two.
Yeah.
And
it was
just like you said that this worked on some of your other siblings, but it didn't work on you
at all. I mean, no, I'll take that back. I was actually, man, I that was almost a whole lot. Yeah, it worked on me for a long period of time. But because I kept going back and forth, and eventually I just stopped. Just because it wasn't healthy for me, developing.
So let me put a piece on that. Like, so, you know, John, you probably can relate on this too. Like, the old school was, we were more or less like, you keep children out of grown folks' business, right?
Right.
So initially, the issue was the absence of my commentary on any subjects dealing with me and you know, their mother, right?
Right.
So my silence kind of aided her in being able to just say whatever she wanted to say. And then when they would come back and, you know, have a lot to say, the kids having a lot to say, I was like, what? Like, first of all, that is not age appropriate, or that's not, you know, whatever. And second of all, that's not complete. That's not the whole truth. Right. And they were like, well, what was the truth? I was like, that's not for y'all. That's not for y'all.
Right.
And so I was doing that for so long, and then finally it was just like, you know, when you're dealing with someone who's not playing by the same rules, you know, you have to kind of have to adjust a little bit. Right. And so I would say a little bit. And the little bit that I was able to say, when put with the much that she was saying, they were like, those don't reconcile, right? Like, there's no way that could be true and this can be true. But that little bit that you said definitely lines up with what I remember.
Exactly.
Because that was part of it. It's like
she's going so hard that it's altering our memories.
Yeah, it was rough.
Like my sister, you could take video evidence of us laughing and having a good time at this point in time and show that to her, and she would say she wasn't really happy in that video. Yeah. Or she was faking. I'm like,
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I don't want to stay on that too long. But
so
yeah.
The honesty though, the honesty of this man has really,
it made a difference.
That was the whole difference right there.
Yeah. And that's what I was going to bring it back home to. The fact that, Kenny, you were able to live in your truth
Yeah.
and it translated to your children. And during this sad time, hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and by you standing your ground and staying true to your character, you were able to get across a stronger message than someone speaking out of pain. And we see that here today.
Yeah.
With KJ. With him being able to sit next to you and know that throughout this entire time, my pops was himself. He was true to himself, and he did what was best not only for him but also for the family. Now, I don't know your situation, how people say from a can of paint, but I do know.
That's my granddaddy favorite expression.
I'm
like,
why do you know a can of paint?
Right,
Know. But I say all that to say, it just really speaks to you answering the question of being the example. It's so important for Black fathers to stand their ground in who they are versus being persuaded and moved in a way that makes them lack or makes them, I won't say subservient, but it makes them lose their will to lead. So I definitely commend you both, and KJ, absolutely, for you standing your ground. It takes a lot to do that. It takes a lot to do that, and the fact that you were still able to see the positivity and love and strength in your father during this hard time, but still have love for your mother, you are the next generation of transparency. And that's what we need from young Black men like yourself, being more in tune with who they are and understanding what you feel is what you feel. And not feeling less of a man, but feeling more of one. Everybody got feelings, everybody got a heart. Everybody struggle with stuff, everybody deal with depression and all these other things. But the fact that you were able to battle through that, find a passion, dig into it, and present